In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can start your own AI lead generation business that earns you $5,000 to $10,000 per month in reliable, consistent income every single month. And I'm giving this completely away, completely for free. Because starting my own AI lead generation business has just completely changed my life. It took me from working at a job that I completely hated to being able to provide for my family, provide for my loved ones, retire my parents, and just live my dream life. And over the last 3 years of running my own AI lead generation business, I've made well over $1 million at this point. And all the information that I'm sharing with you in this video is literally from my own research, from my own data, from after endless trial and error of what is proven to work. And again, I'm giving it to you completely for free. This is the type of info that other gurus online will literally charge you thousands of dollars for. And again, I'm giving it away completely for free. So grab a notebook, grab a pen, grab your coffee, and lock in, because this is going to be the only video that you need to watch if you want to make $5,000 to $10,000 per month with your own AI lead generation business. So the very first thing to talk about is how exactly does AI lead generation work? And in order to answer that, let me start with asking you one very simple question. What's the one thing that every single business on earth wants more of? Well, the answer is customers, because it literally doesn't matter if it's $1 billion software company or it's a solo freelancer just working from the laptop. Every single business literally lives or dies based on its ability to get new leads and get new customers, because no leads equals to no sales. No sales means no revenue, and no revenue literally means no business. It's literally like oxygen, and the second that it runs out, the business literally suffocates and die. Now here's the problem. Even though every single business needs more clients in order to survive, most of them have literally no idea how to get them consistently. And Harvard Business Review actually found that over 65% of businesses literally say that getting new customers is their number one challenge in their entire business. And there's a research from LinkedIn that also shows that businesses are literally spending billions of dollars every single year just trying to figure out lead generation, just trying to figure out how to get new customers. And yet, most of these businesses, they're still relying on old and inefficient ways of doing things, right? Things like relying on word of mouth, wasting money on ads that they really don't understand, or just even crossing their fingers and just hoping that referrals just randomly show up magically at the doorstep. Meanwhile, the owners are stressed, they're wondering why they're not growing and what they're actually missing. And that's why lead generation as an industry is just massive. Forbes actually predicts that this is an industry that will grow to over $31 billion by the year of 2031. That's absolutely insane. And the reason why it's growing so much is because this actually solves a real expensive problem for businesses. And when you know how to solve that problem by helping them get in front of more qualified leads and book them sales calls, you instantly just become super, super valuable, and you just can't be replaced. You become quite literally recession proof, right? And that's exactly what AI lead generation is all about. So what exactly is it? Well, in simplest terms, AI lead generation is simply helping businesses get more sales calls with potential clients using cold emails and using AI tools that handles 80 to 90% of the work for you. So you're not selling the products, you're not building advanced websites or running ads, you're not even taking their sales calls. All you're doing is sending simple professional emails that start conversations and book meetings for your client's calendar. And that's the entire service in a nutshell. So you're kind of becoming the connector, kind of becoming like the middleman who helps businesses find more clients. And for that, they're usually paying you anywhere between $1,000 to $3,000 every single month. And compare that to all of the other business opportunities that are commonly talked about by other gurus online. So things like dropshipping, Amazon FBA, affiliate marketing, social media marketing agency. They all have one or more of the same problems, right? They usually all have high startup costs or inventory, super, super heavy competition. Most people and their moms all know some of these business models. You know, they rely constantly on algorithm changes or chasing these new flashy trends, and they rarely solve a real painful problem. And AI lead generation is literally completely different than all of these different business models, because you don't need inventory, you don't need a massive budget, and you're solving a problem that's always in demand, helping businesses get clients. And literally, whether there's any wars, whether there's recessions, it doesn't really matter the state of the world. Businesses, as long as they exist, which they always will always need more customers. And every single day, businesses are literally losing money because they don't have enough leads. And you show up with a system that literally fixes that, they'll pay you, right? And that's exactly why this works. Because you're literally selling something that businesses already want, which is more customers, and you're using AI to deliver it faster, deliver it easier, and deliver it cheaper than ever before. And because you're charging $1,000 to $3,000 per client per month, the math in order to hit $5,000 to $10,000 per month literally becomes super simple, right? Let's assume that one client, they're paying you $2,000 for the sake of simple math, right? Two clients, they're paying you $4,000 a month. If you have 5 clients, you're at around $10,000 per month. So you don't need hundreds of customers, you just need a few, right? When I first got started back in 2022, I literally took 4 clients on and I got to $10,000 per month because I was charging a pretty decent amount of money. And that's exactly what makes this one of the best online businesses to start in 2025 because it's simple to learn, easy to automate, and the demand is quite literally endless. And that's AI lead generation in a nutshell. And in the next few steps, the next few sections, I'll be walking you through exactly how to launch your own AI lead generation business step by step, even if you have no prior experience and you're just starting from scratch. So the very first step is how to pick a niche using AI. And this is the very first step in starting your own AI lead generation business. And you want to think of it like this. If you are opening a restaurant, one of the very first things that you need to figure out is who exactly are you serving? Are you cooking for students looking to grab a cheap and quick bite between classes? Are you cooking for professionals who want quick, healthy meals? Or are you serving high-end diners looking for a premium restaurant experience? And the answer to that will literally change and dictate the type of restaurant that you open. And the exact same thing here applies because you're not just doing lead generation for literally everyone under the sun. What we're doing is we're building a business, and every good business starts by choosing one clear type of customer to actually serve, or what we call your niche. Now, here's where most people mess this up because most people, they spend weeks researching, they second guess every single decision, and they try to find the perfect niche. But here's the truth. Picking a niche, it isn't rocket science, especially when you got AI in your back pocket to actually help you do this. But before we jump into using AI to actually help us pick one niche, which we'll do in just a second here, we first need to understand what actually makes a good niche. And there's actually 3 simple rules, 3 simple requirements that I want you to keep in mind as you're going through this process. The very first rule is it should be a broad enough niche. So for example, you want to choose marketing agencies as opposed to Facebook ad agencies for realtors or Facebook ad agencies for e-com stores, because that's just way too specific. But marketing agencies is super, super broad, and there's literally hundreds of thousands of marketing agencies that literally exist. Now, the second requirement is they need to be selling B2B, meaning they're selling the products or services to other businesses instead of regular everyday consumers. Why? Because B2B clients, they're usually easier to work with because they're business owners. They understand ROI, so return on investment, and they're usually already spending money to acquire customers. They're just way easier to work with, and you really want to be choosing B2B instead of B2C. So B2C would be, as an example, gyms that sell gym memberships to consumers, or realtors who sell homes to regular people like you and I, right? That's B2C, and you do not want to be working with them. Now, the third requirement is they should be selling something worth at least $5,000 or more per customer. Well, why does this matter? Well, the reason this matters is super, super simple, and the answer is because if their customers are worth more money, they can simply afford to pay you more. So as an example, if you're working with a client who's selling their own products or services for, let's say, $100, well, suddenly the math is pretty challenging. The math doesn't math, right? Where if you want to charge $1,000 to $3,000 per month, they suddenly need to be selling a lot of the products or services if they're selling it for $100, versus if they're selling for $5,000, they only need to sell it once in order to afford your services for $1,000 to $3,000. So here's actually the AI ChatGPT prompt that will actually help you pick a niche. And it's super, super simple. You actually pause the video and look at this prompt, and I'll actually just show you, because in ChatGPT, I literally just copied and pasted the prompt over, thought for 21 seconds, and actually spit out 10 different broad B2B niches that we could potentially go after. So for example, B2B SaaS, right? And obviously the formatting is kind of ugly, but you know, the point still stands, right? There's B2B SaaS. It talks about what they sell. So subscription software to solve a specific business workflow, why this might be a strong fit. What do they do today to get new clients, generate new leads? Who do they usually target? And different cold email angles, right? So this is the prompt that will allow you to do that. So this is B2B SaaS, and it actually spits out a whole bunch of, right? So we have cybersecurity, we have marketing agencies, we have custom software and product development studios, and there's just a whole bunch of niches that you could literally run through. You could read through this, you could brainstorm, and you could kind of just get some ideas and bounce some ideas off of. And basically the entire idea is you want to just choose one specific niche that you can start off. And you do not want to overthink this. You don't want to spend a bunch of time. You literally want to spend, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes, and that's basically all you need to do. Because once you have picked a niche, your very next step is to actually research your niche in detail. And your goal is to kind of just put yourself in the shoes of your niche, right? Where you're kind of just getting a clear understanding on their business model, what they're currently doing to generate leads, and the specific results that they might be looking for in terms of your AI lead generation services. So that's really what you want to do. After you pick a niche, you want to research them. And again, super simple, because with AI, we actually just put this prompt into ChatGPT and it'll do 90% of the work for us, right? Again, you can screenshot this prompt and you could put it into ChatGPT. As you can see, this is exactly what I did. So for example, I said, hey, I'm interested in B2B SaaS. Can you tell me more about that industry? I want to learn more about their business model, just how it works, the price points, all of that good stuff. And it actually just spits out a bunch of research. So it talks about in detail how B2B SaaS companies work. It talks about the general price points that they sell their products or services for, how they're currently generating leads, generating customers today. And if I were the founder of a SaaS company, what are some of the pain points or problems that I might be having around sales or lead generation? And as you can see, it's super in detail, right? This is the type of research that before AI, before ChatGPT, this would have took you literally like multiple hours to actually do. But with AI now stepping into this literally takes less than 5 to 10 minutes to actually do, right? And that's exactly what you want to be doing, right? So this is the AI prompt for that. So the action item for step number 1 of picking a niche is using ChatGPT to pick one niche and then using ChatGPT to research that one niche that you actually chose. All right, now we move on to step number 2, which is building your leads list. Because by now, you should have picked your niche, you should have done a bit of research, and the next step is essentially just finding people that you can actually reach out to. And this is where things actually start feeling real, because this is a step where you actually build the list of potential clients who might end up paying you money, right? But before we get into the tacticals, I want you to understand something super important. Most beginners actually overcomplicate this step. They think that they need a bunch of these expensive, fancy softwares, or that it's going to take hours to manually find emails one by one. But with AI and the tools that I'll be sharing with you here, this entire process just becomes way faster, way easier, and just way more accurate. So let's actually break this down step by step. Here's actually what we're doing, because your goal is to build what's called a prospect list. Basically, a spreadsheet filled with names, companies, and the emails of businesses in your niche. So for example, here's a screenshot of a leads list that I put together last week, right? We have the first names, the last names, the titles, right? As you can see, CEOs, most of them are CEOs, founders, that type of thing. Here's their company names, their emails, where they're located, their personal LinkedIn URL, and the website to their company name. And that's exactly what we're doing, because with this information, we could then reach out to them to their emails, right? We have literally their contacts that we could send cold emails to, right? And building this leads list is actually super simple, because here's the ChatGPT prompt that will allow you to figure this out, right? You can, again, pause this video, screenshot it, and basically what you could then do is you could go into ChatGPT, put this prompt, and essentially what we're going to be using is a tool called Apollo.io, which is essentially a directory. And in order to set up that directory, we want to do what's called filtering, right? We want to filter Apollo.io for the specific people that we're looking for, the decision makers. And essentially this prompt will allow us to figure out what those filters are. So for example, it's going to tell us based on the industry that we're choosing, which is SaaS, we're going to use these geographical filters of these countries. So United States, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. Here's the company filters. These are the keywords for it. You can go and do this part yourself, and it's just going to give you a bunch of different filters. And what you could then do is you could go into Apollo.io. So right now we're in Apollo.io. All you need is a free Apollo.io account. And once you have that, as you can see, I already went ahead and set up some of these filters based on what ChatGPT told me to set up. And these are for SaaS companies, right? So we picked the employee headcount. We have 1 to 200. Here's the job titles: founders, owners, CEOs. Here's the locations, right? So those 5 countries that we saw earlier from ChatGPT. Here's the industry keywords, right? So software, SaaS, B2B SaaS. We're excluding agencies, consulting, freelance. And based on this, these filters that literally took me like 5 minutes to set up, as you can see, we have over 250,000 of these CEOs, founders, owners of these SaaS companies, right? So if we look on this list, right, we have all of them, right? And if we click access their email, we're going to get their email address. And essentially all you want to do is you want to select all of them and you want to export this into a Google Sheet or into an Excel file. And that way your sheet will then look like this. And that's basically your entire leads list. Super simple. And with this activity, this will probably take you around 20 to 30 minutes in total to do. And as the action items, all you want to do is you just want to use ChatGPT to identify your leads list filters and then set up a free Apollo.io account and set up your filters and export your leads list. And that's the entire thing that you want to do for step number 2, which is building your leads list. All right, so step number 3 is how to write your cold emails by using AI. And by now, you've already done 2 of the most important things. You pick your niche and you build out your leads list. Now comes the step that actually turns that list into sales calls, which is writing your cold emails. And this is a key part of the entire AI lead generation process, because these are the emails, these are the messages that are going out every single day to decision makers, so the people that could actually pay you money. And here's the best part: you don't need to be good at writing. You don't need to have any sales or marketing experience. You just need to understand how to talk to your niche, which you already learned from the last step through your research. And that's what makes this process so powerful, because once you know who you're targeting and what they care about, AI can actually write the cold emails for you that sounds completely professional, that sounds completely personalized and completely believable without you having to think hard about it. And most people think that a good cold email has to sound clever, it has to be super persuasive, or it has to be long. It really doesn't, because the best cold emails are direct, they're short, and they're very simple. They get straight to the point, make it about the other person, and clearly shows how you understand the world. You understand the problems and their pain points, which is exactly why in the previous step, I focused so hard on research, right? Because you really, if you're able to put yourself in the shoes of your niche, this entire process just becomes way easier and just way more effective. It's probably the best use of your time if you're serious about making money, to be honest, right? Because the best cold emails, they should be super direct, they should be super short, and they should be super simple. They get straight to the point, make it about the other person, and again, it clearly shows you understand the world. And remember, you're not trying to sell anything in this first email. All you're trying to do is start a conversation. Let me repeat that. You're not trying to sell anything. All you're doing is starting a conversation. So to show you what this actually looks like in action, here's an example of a real cold email that I once received from someone pitching me on using webinars to get more clients, right? And this is an example. And as you read it, I want you to notice a couple key things. The first thing is I want you to notice how short this email is. The second is I want you to notice how quickly that this email gets to the point. And the third thing is I want you to notice how this feels like that it was just written literally just for me. So as you can see, this email subject line is quick question and it says, hey, I will build you a full AI-driven webinar funnel that adds $30,000 in revenue in 60 days with zero cash upfront. Can I send you a doc breaking down how I would do this? P.S. We can have this collecting cash in literally 10 days. Best, and in the name. So notice how short this is, right? This is literally like 3 sentences long. It takes literally less than 20 seconds to actually read out loud. And that's exactly what makes a good cold email. The best cold emails that I've ever written, that I've ever sent, are all super short, just like this, right? Most people think that they need to write an essay, they need to write a paragraph, and that cannot be further from the truth. It just needs to be short, it just needs to be direct, and it just needs to be simple. So in order to do this, here's the AI prompt. We first want to start with creating your offer, which is just a very simple sentence, kind of like a value proposition that tells people exactly who you are and what you actually do, right? And here's the ChatGPT prompt that you want to use inside of ChatGPT. Again, you can pause this video, you can screenshot this, do what you have to do, but here's the prompt. As you can see, I put it into ChatGPT and I asked it to build me 5 different offers that I could use for my cold emails for B2B SaaS founders, and it just spit out a bunch, right? So offer 1 is we help B2B SaaS founders generate a predictable flow of qualified demos every single week without hiring SDRs or spending money on ads. And notice if you're watching this video and you know anything about SaaS companies, you will realize very quickly that we're speaking in the language of these SaaS companies. So they use the term demo calls instead of sales calls. They use the term SDRs, which is salespeople, without spending money on ads. So it's highly, highly relevant. So again, I always keep on mentioning that it's super important to be relevant and put yourself in the shoes of your niche, right? And that's exactly what we're doing. And with AI, it just becomes super, super accurate. Now, the second offer is we help B2B SaaS founders replace their inconsistent outbound or underperforming SDRs with a proven data-backed cold email system. So again, we're speaking the language, offer 3, offer 4, and offer 5, right? And as you can see, super, super simple to do. And this is exactly what you want to be doing using AI, right? It just simplifies the entire process for you and makes sure that you're actually talking about things in a highly relevant manner. Now, once we have the offer, the next thing we want to do is build out your full cold email sequence. And what we want to do is we actually want to get ChatGPT to write us 5 cold emails long. Because the way it works is we're not just going to be sending a prospect, so a decision maker, 1 email and calling it a day. I have found personally from my own data and research that most people actually requires multiple touch points in order to actually respond. And for me, one thing that I've always done that's always seen a lot of success is every single cold email sequence I write literally has 5 emails. So email 1, email 2, email 3, email 4, and email 5. And basically the last few emails are all going to act as a follow-up, kind of like a follow-up email. And I've always found that to always drive the most amount of replies and always the best results. And the best part is you don't have to do all of this yourself, right? Here's the prompt that you could use inside of ChatGPT to get it to write you your 5 cold email long sequence, right? And I'm actually going to plug that into ChatGPT. And as you can see, here's a 5 email long cold email sequence crafted specifically for B2B SaaS founders, right? Every single email takes 15 to 20 seconds to read, sounds human, and keeps the focus on their goal, booked demos, MRR growth, and predictable pipeline, right? Each email ends with a single low pressure call to action that invites a reply or click to watch a short training video, right? So here's email 1, right? Hey John, notice company name looks like you're scaling fast, but probably still relying on inbound and paid ads. I recorded a short 5-minute training video showing how SaaS founders are adding 10 to 15 qualified demos a month using cold email systems instead of SDRs. Want me to send it over? So this is a cold email. Notice how short it is. That's email 1. And if, for example, here's email 2, right? Obviously, if you don't have social proof, then you want to remove that, right? You don't want to be like lying about it or anything like that. Most people start with no case studies. I start with no case studies as well. So you don't really need case studies to get results. Obviously, if you have case studies, you're going to get better results, but that's not to say that you need it, right? It's better to be honest and just remove that because you don't have social proof than not at all, right? Email 3, objection handle, belief shifts. Email 4, offer and scarcity. And email 5 is what I like to call a breakup email, where you're essentially just telling people, hey, we reached out a couple of times, didn't hear back. Regardless, wishing you best of luck in the rest of your year. If this changes in the future and this becomes a priority, hit me up. So something like that, right? So here's email 5. Didn't want to keep pinging you. Should I take you off my list? Or would you still like that training video on how SaaS founders are generating demos on autopilot? And here's your 5 email long sequence that literally AI writes for you. And obviously, you don't want to just copy and paste it mindlessly. You want to read into it, make some edits. Sometimes the AI has grammar mistakes, all these different things. But this is 95% of the work for you. And again, prior to AI existing, you would have had to spend weeks, if not months, just learning how all this works. I spent literally months learning how to write good cold emails. And now AI literally does that in literally less than 5 minutes. And that's basically this step, right? So the action items for this step is to use ChatGPT to write your offer and then use ChatGPT to write your cold email sequence for you. All right, so now we're in step 4 of the process, which is the email account setup and warm up. And this step is a little bit more tactical, but don't worry, we'll be walking through this step by step together. So now that you pick your niche, built your leads list, and written your cold emails, the next step is to set up the email accounts that will actually send those emails out for you. And this is where we start building the engine that powers your entire AI lead generation business. And here's how I want you to think about it. You're not sending emails from your own personal Gmail or your own personal Outlook accounts. Instead, you're going to be creating what we call burner email accounts. Why? Because every single email account that you create has what's called a sending limit. So Gmail, Outlook, they don't want you blasting hundreds or even thousands of cold emails from one single email account every single day. Because if you do that, then you get flagged as spam and your messages won't even reach people. So if you go inside your Gmail and you look inside that junk folder or the spam folder, that's exactly where your cold emails will go if you don't do this step properly. So instead, what we want to do is we want to spread out our sending volume across multiple email accounts just to make sure that we're keeping everything safe, natural, and scalable. And here's actually the math in order to actually do that. So for every 1 domain that you will set up, you want to create 3 burner email accounts. So I'll repeat that. 1 domain equals to 3 burner email accounts. And every single 1 email account can safely send between 20 and 25 cold emails per day. So if you want to send, as an example, 300 cold emails per day, that would look like this. You would need 4 domains, 12 email accounts, each sending 25 emails per day. And there are actually small costs involved, typically around $15 per year for every 1 domain, and about $4 per month for each email account. So if you wanted to start with just 1 domain and 3 email accounts, you're looking at around $27 to actually get started, which is incredibly low for the potential upside of this business. Now, the key idea here is that more domains, the more email accounts you have, the more cold emails that you can actually send every single day, and that means faster and better results. So for more context, inside of my own AI lead generation business, we send around 1,500 to 2,000 cold emails every single day. So someone sending 50 emails per day will get completely different results than someone else who's sending, let's say, 500 emails per day or even 1,000 emails per day. So the number of email accounts that you want to set up, it really comes down to your own financial situation and how aggressively that you want to grow and see results. Now, the good news is that setting all of this up is just way easier than it sounds, because you don't have to manually create and manage every single email account. There's actually a tool and software called smartly.ai that automates the entire process for you, from creating accounts to tracking performance. And here's actually how you do that. So here's actually some screenshots that you want to follow along. And again, I would strongly suggest you just setting up your own Smart Lead account right now, hopping on the basic plan. I think it's like $30 a month or $40 a month, and just walking through this step alongside this video and just pausing this video as you go. So the very first step is, again, log into your Smart Lead account, create a Smart Lead account if you haven't already. The second step is click on the email account section. So on the left side over here are your Smart Lead dashboard, and on the upper right corner, you will have a button that says add account. And if you don't see it, again, you're probably on the trial Smart Lead account and you need to upgrade to the basic plan. Once you click that, you want to click on create your own primary inbox optimized infrastructure, and you just want to click on that button. And again, just as a word of caution, Smart Lead changes the UI very, very frequently, literally every single week. And if you're watching this video, maybe the UI has changed a little bit, maybe some buttons have moved around, but the feature will still exist, right? You're just gonna have to look a little bit deeper and find that button, but it will exist. It's just simply impossible for me to update this video every single week when Smart Lead just changes a feature or changes the UI, right? But the same feature will exist. You just have to find it around inside of your Smart Lead account, because I guarantee it will exist. Now, once you do that, you're going to be able to choose between Gmail and Outlook as your email provider. I strongly suggest getting a 50-50 split between Gmail and Outlook. So what I mean by that is, if you're trying to set up 10 domains in total, I strongly suggest getting 5 domains on Google and 5 domains on Outlook. And again, each of those domains could get 3 email accounts. So you're getting 5 times 3, 15 email accounts from Gmail, 15 email accounts from Outlook. Now on the next screen, once you choose that, it will be the section where you're choosing your domain name, right? So you want to just enter kind of whatever your business name is, and you want to just put that in. And then basically Smart Lead will give you a list of available domain names that you could choose from, right? You're not going to be sending cold emails from your main business domain, because otherwise you're going to risk putting your main business domain in spam. What we want to do instead is buy burner domains that are similar to your main business domain and main business website. So for example, if your domain name is getleads.com, you want to buy burner domains that might be getlead.com, getled.com, right? And you want to just wiggle around the spelling, maybe make some spelling mistakes, put an extra S, put an extra E, all of these different things. And that's exactly what you want to be doing. And once you do that, the very next step is, once you put in the domain name, it's going to tell you which one is available, and it's going to tell you the cost in order to purchase that. And once you do that, the next step is creating the email account. So again, we're creating 3 email accounts for every 1 domain that we're setting up. And this is the, what your Smart Lead will look like. And it'll basically just give you the option to give your first name, put the last name, and put the profile picture, upload a profile picture that you want to use for your email accounts. And once you do that, that's basically what you want to do. And you basically just want to just check it out, right? So the next step is Smart Lead will just give you a list of all of your domains and all of your email accounts, and it'll summarize the cost for you. And you kind of just want to make that payment. You want to purchase that, and that's basically the steps in order to do that. And again, I strongly suggest having your Smart Lead account set up and just walking through that step as you're watching this video, and that will make it very easy for you to get set up. And once you pay for it, Smart Lead will then take 24 to 48 hours to set up your domains and set up your email accounts for you. So you don't need to lift a finger, and you will receive an email once they're ready. So this is an email that I actually received from Smart Lead. I set up a bunch of Gmail and Google accounts, and they actually sent this to me, I think like 24 hours after I paid for it. And it literally tells me, hey, your Google mailboxes that you ordered are ready and added to your account. Now, the next step is, once you have your email accounts set up by Smart Lead, the next step is to warm up your email accounts inside of smartlead.ai. Because once you have the domains and email accounts, that's basically what you want to do, and you want to ramp up your email accounts for the next 14 days. And if you skip this step, again, your cold emails will simply just end up in the spam, end up in the junk folder. And again, super, super simple to do this. You're going to get, once you have that email that Smart Lead sends you telling you that your email accounts are ready, you just want to log into your Smart Lead account, go under the email account section, the tab, like shown in the image below. You just want to select the email accounts that you have, so all of the email accounts that you bought, and you just want to select it and enable warmup by clicking on it, right? You want to just click into it, just press the, turn on the warm up, and then just press save. And you just want to enable the warm up, click save, and voila, right? Smart Lead will automatically kick off in the background, ensuring that your emails always stay out of spam. And you can actually review the statistics of your warm up emails each and every single day. You just want to give it a couple minutes to actually kick off. So at the action items for this step is you first want to create a smartlead.ai account. You then want to purchase domains and email accounts, and then you want to wait 24 hours. And then once you get the email from SmartLead telling you that your email accounts are ready, you then want to warm them up for 14 days. All right, so now we're in step 5, which is doing inbox management. Because once your cold emails are being sent out every single day, this is where things start to get really exciting, because people are going to start replying back to your emails, and these replies are where the real business happens. Because the entire goal from here is simple: having natural conversations with the people who respond back to you and guide them towards booking a sales call where you could then pitch your AI lead generation services. And this is the main activity that you be doing on a day-to-day basis, and it's not about writing these long replies or trying to hard sell anyone through an email reply. It's more about chatting with someone who's already curious about what you already do. So think of it like texting. You're just responding back to them when you see a new message, keeping the conversation flowing and helping them take that next logical step. And most people actually find this part surprisingly easy once they get into the rhythm, because you probably spend anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes a day doing this, not all at once, but spread throughout your day, just like how you reply to text messages from friends or family whenever you see a notification on your phone. And the key mindset here is consistency, because as long as your emails are going out and being sent out every single day through SmartLead, and you're replying to the people who actually respond back to you, your calendar will start filling up with calls automatically. And you're going to get responses to your cold emails, such as the one below here, right? So for example, I sent a cold email to this person, and this person replied back saying, "Hi Jimmy, yes we are, we'll be happy to chat with you. Could you please share 2 available time slots, time options that work for you, and I'll schedule the call accordingly. Looking forward to connecting." Right? And you can actually do that inside of SmartLead. So for example, inside of SmartLead, there's a master inbox section where once you click in, you're going to see all of the replies that you get to your cold emails. And from here, you're actually able to reply back to them. So super, super simple. And again, these cold emails will be sent out through smartlead.ai each and every single day. So whether you're at the gym, you're out for dinner, you're taking a nap, it literally doesn't matter. If you're using that software, smartlead.ai, your cold emails are being sent out every single day, and replies will just start coming into your SmartLead inbox, and all you do is just reply back to them for 10 to 30 minutes every single day, and that's basically what you have to do for this step. Now we're in step 6 of the process, which is how to actually do sales calls, and this is really where the magic happens, because once your cold emails start landing, people are going to reply back, and before you know it, some of them are actually going to book a call with you. And if you've done everything right up until this point, a single 40-minute Zoom call could literally turn into a few $1,000s into your bank account. Now I know what you might be thinking. Wait, but I'm not a sales guy. And don't worry, you really don't need to be, because if you've ever gotten a job through a job interview, you've already done sales. You are selling yourself, your experience, your confidence, your personality, but in a casual, professional way. And that's really all sales really is, because you don't need slick lines, you don't need some Wolf of Wall Street energy, and you definitely don't need to pressure anyone. Those days are really just long gone. And these calls are just real conversations between 2 humans, where you're seeing if you can help someone solve a real problem, and if it makes sense, then you show them how. Because when I first got started, I made the same mistake that literally everyone makes. I thought that I had to pitch, I had to persuade, I had to hard close, but the second I stopped trying to perform and just focused on being real, asking good questions, listening, and explaining clearly how I could help them, literally everything changed for me. And here's the best way to think about these calls. Imagine your personal trainer. Someone books a call with you because they want to lose 20 pounds and get in shape. You wouldn't yell at them or use mind tricks to convince them to lose weight. You simply ask them, okay, cool, so what are your goals? Okay, so you want to lose 20 pounds. What's your current routine? And if it makes sense, then you say, cool, here's what I would recommend to you to lose 20 pounds in the next 90 days. Here's the plan. If you want, I could walk you through it and customize it specifically for you. Do you want that? That's exactly how these calls work. And you're just going to be guiding someone through a few simple parts of a conversation. So for example, the very first thing you want to do is what's called the intro and the agenda section of the call, where you just want to start with a quick hello. You want to set the tone and ask if it's cool to ask a few questions about their business. That's really what it is. Just don't be weird about it. Just start the conversation. After you pass the intro and the agenda section, the next step is the current business snapshot, where you're literally finding out, okay, so what is it that you actually sell? At what price points? Who are you selling it to? How are you currently getting clients, getting these calls, getting leads? What's that process like? Tell me a little bit more about that. Now, once you move past that part, the next part is a sales process breakdown. So are they currently doing cold outreach right now? Are they currently doing cold emails? If yes, how's it going? If no, have they tried it before? Have they gotten results from it in the past? Why didn't they get results from it in the past? So you're really just trying to figure out what they're currently doing to get new sales and get new customers, get new clients in this part of the process. Now, the final part of the conversation is the future state. So after you understand what they're currently doing, that you understand their business, you want to understand what would success look like for them if they had a consistent flow of leads, if they had a consistent flow of sales calls. What kind of results would actually move the needle for them, and what are they looking for, right? What's the specific result? And then once you understand where they are and where they want to go, that's when you want to explain your offer. You want to show them how your system works, how you help businesses just like them get the results that they want, and it feels like a good fit together where you believe that you can help them and they believe in you. Then you want to invite them to partner up with you so that you can help them do it. Now, of course, not every single sales call that you take will end up closing, and that's totally normal. Some people, they won't be ready. Some people won't fully believe in cold emails yet, and some people will just need time to just think about it, and that's completely okay. You're not trying to win every single call. You're building real relationships, learning and finding the people who are the right fit for your business. So think of it kind of like matchmaking, and that's really all you're doing. But when it does click, when someone sees it, gets it, and says, yeah, I'm ready to move forward, then it's going to feel effortless. You hang up, you look at your laptop and think, wait, did I just make $2,000 completely from home, completely off my laptop? And that's the game. And just like everything else, the more that you do it, the better you will get. Your 100th call that you would do will be way better and smoother than the first sales call that you ever take. It's a skill. It's a real skill. But the first call, that's really where it all starts. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that you crush it right away. Most people don't crush it right away because they don't have any sales experience. And again, that's completely fine. But you definitely don't need any sales experience in order to actually win here. You just want to put one step in front of the other. Because really, all you have to do is you just have to show up, listen, and just be real. And that's really all it takes for this step. So now we're in step number 7, which is how to scale your AI lead generation business. Because now that you got all your pieces together, you got your niche, you got your leads list, you got your cold emails, your email accounts, and your sales calls, the next question is how do you actually scale this into something that you earn $5,000 a month from, $10,000 per month, or even $20,000 per month or more from? And just as importantly, how do you actually deliver the service once you land a client? And here's what makes AI lead generation just so powerful. And honestly, this is why it's one of the most beginner-friendly business models out there that exists. Because you're not juggling 20 different moving parts. You're not building websites, editing videos, designing ads, or trying to ship products from China. You're learning one high-income skill, how to generate leads using AI and cold emails. That's it. One skill that pays you forever. And here's the craziest part, because once you land your first client, you're basically just doing for them what you already did for yourself. So think about it like this. You use cold emails to get your own clients, right? Now what you're doing is you're doing the exact same thing for them as well. You're writing cold emails targeting the businesses that they want to work with, send those emails on their behalf, and book them sales calls. You're not taking calls for them. You're not selling their products. You're simply the middleman, the connector who brings buyers and sellers together, where you're plugging your client's offer, running campaigns through these AI tools like smartly.ai, and making sure that the system books them consistent calls. They pay you monthly to keep doing that, and they're happy to, because you're directly helping them grow their revenue. It's one skill repeatedly with different inputs, and that's what makes it scale. Now, let's talk about numbers, because everyone wants to know how to hit that $5,000 to $10,000 per month mark. And honestly, it's just a lot simpler than most people expect, because you don't need a big team. You don't need some complicated funnel or some fancy automations. When I hit my very first $10,000 month, it was literally just me, my laptop, this exact same process, and just 4 clients paying me between $2,000 and $3,000 per month. So if your goal is $5,000 per month and you're charging $2,000 per month per client, that's just 2 to 3 clients in order to get there. So if you want to get to $10,000 per month, that's 5 clients. That's it. You're not chasing hundreds of customers or worrying about high refund rates like in dropshipping or Amazon FBA. Instead, you're working with a handful of real businesses who pay you every single month because they're providing something they actually need, which is more leads and more customers. And the best part about this is managing each client will take you about 30 to 60 minutes per day. You're literally just checking that their campaigns are running smoothly, replying to a few leads and cold email replies, and tweaking things as needed. And that's it. No chaos, no burnout. It's literally just one skill repeated over and over again. And the more that you do it, the better you get, the more confident you will feel, and the more money you will make. And that's the beauty of AI lead generation. You're stacking skills, you're stacking income, and stacking freedom at the exact same time. But unlike most other online business models like dropshipping or SMMA or Amazon FBA, where you're fighting brutal competition, dealing with razor thin margins, or constantly chasing the next new trend, AI lead generation is simple, stable, and always in demand. Every business need more leads, every business want more clients, and you can deliver that for them using tools and automations that do 90% of the work for you. And that's why this model just works so well, especially for beginners, because they're selling the one thing that every business wants: more customers. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to learn this one skill, set the system once, and keep doing it consistently. And for most people, within 3 to 6 months, they're making $5,000 to $10,000 per month just from this alone. And this is the model that finally gives you control, the ability to earn online from anywhere with nothing but your laptop and your skills. It's simple, predictable, and it actually just works.